Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2023 Chevy Corvette Z06. Behind me is a 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8, and down below is an 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this C8 for two reasons. First of all, although this is my third C8 review, this is my first time driving a C8 out on public roads. The first video was filmed at the Naperville test track, and that vehicle hadn't even been broken in yet, so I was in the break-in miles, so I couldn't really take it too fast. The second one I drove was an E-Ray, and I got to rip on that quite a bit, but that was at Autobahn Country Club, and I couldn't leave the grounds with it. So today, we're out on public roads with a C8 Corvette, but the second reason is the fact that it is the Z06. The Z06 has always been the crazy cousin of the Corvette lineup, and so today, we're going to be seeing if that reigns true for the C8. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 5.5 liter V8 behind me. Well, that is a new engine here. 5.5 liters, don't really see that a whole lot from GM, and it is a flat plane crank engine, and it puts out a staggering, naturally aspirated 670 horsepower. It is 30 horsepower shy of a Hellcat with no supercharger. That is an incredible, insane, and precise piece of engineering. How they did it, I don't really know, and maybe I'll never know, but that's okay. I'm fine with not knowing that. It sounds glorious. I'll show this startup video, and it was also in a warehouse, so it has a little bit more echo to it, but here it is. And gosh darn it, if that doesn't send a tingle down your spine, you might want to have your pulse checked. Now, like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed DCT transmission. It's an automatic dual clutch, and it's actually fantastic. It does take a little bit of warming up. Driving the Z06 when it's cold, that 8-speed does not want to come into work this morning. But now that it's warmed up and friendly, it is very, very quick with the shifts. And although I miss the manual, I miss rowing my own gears, you can't deny the strong arm that is the Z06 with its 8-speed dual clutch. Last but not least, this particular Z06 is rear-wheel drive. However, if you bought the E-Ray, that actually came in all-wheel drive because it had a front electric motor. So if that is something you want to seek out, maybe you want to drive your Corvette for 10 months out of the year instead of 8 months out of the year, you can find an E-Ray with a front motor. This does not have it, so I am just relying on good old rear-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the C8 Z06? Well, I can tell you chassis-wise, it does feel a lot more exotic. You get all the engine noises behind you, and you just feel more planted. It feels like you're wearing a V8 backpack rather than getting pulled along like you did in the C7 and previous gens. You feel more a part of this car than ever before in the Corvette. Ride quality is fine. Visibility is not good. You do sacrifice a lot of visibility moving to the C8 generation, but part of the downsides of having the engine behind you, you kind of got to look past it when looking backwards. However, I have not actually driven this car in any sort of enthusiast fashion until now, so let's see my raw first impression. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to put it into Z mode, at least for my first time. Let's get a little bit of sound here. I think a fighter jet has lost its wings. That was so effortless, and I was not foot to the floor. I'm not sure I'm quite comfortable with that quite yet. It is chilly, the tires are cold, but my gosh, you hit warp speed in this thing. Holy criminy! It doesn't feel real, and it just keeps going. It revs out to about 8,000 RPM. V8 shouldn't do that. V8 should be big, lazy, and slow, but this is none of them. Prince, the red Corvette is not little anymore. Oh my gosh. Oh, goodness, grape juice. That's an experience. And the fact that it does all of that with no turbos, with no supercharger, with no help from anyone, this engine is a self-made millionaire. This can actually say built, not bought, although you do buy the Z06, but you know what I mean. Gosh, the long hours, the sleepless nights that the engineering team must have gone through to produce this is all worth it. You don't see it. I have a sweatshirt on. I am covered in goosebumps. It is magical. It's almost indescribable. It bends your perception of space and time. This is the automotive equivalent of watching Interstellar on mushrooms. Wow. I'm at a true loss for words. So I'll hit it one more time. With that stuff out of the way, not that it's small, but with it out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I really like this. It's highly adaptable when you chuck it into Z mode. Anything you want to know, you can have up on the screen, and I really like that. Whether you're taking out to a track and you want to watch tire temps, or you just want to see what song's on the radio today, you get both of those here in the C8, which is lovely. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our cruise control and favorites, but then we have our Z button. So the Z button is going to be your customized mode. It's going to open up the exhaust valves, give you all that engine power, and really wake the car up at the push of a button. So if you're cruising on the highway, you see a little BMW M3 that deserves the sauce, hit the button and disappear. Off to the right, we have our heated steering wheel. Very nice to see that. Voice command, selectors for the gauge cluster screen, as well as our volume. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, as well as our head-up display options. And moving on to the door, we have our Bose speaker, our memory seats, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get our infotainment display. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and all of the modern fixins found here. This is still the same system that GM uses in most of their products throughout their lineup. We do get a front camera as well as a rear camera, so navigating the lack of visibility out of the C8 is a little bit easier with those helping out. Then we have our center stack. So off to the left, this is the shifter. Push button shifter, park reverse, neutral drive, and manual mode. We have buttons for our traction control off, our front nose lifter, so you can actually raise the front end of the vehicle if you need to clear a speed bump or get into a driveway. And we have our front camera button. Then we have this dial for our drive mode. So we have weather, my mode, tour, sport, track, and then of course Z mode, but that's its own button. Then we do have cup holders. We'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and like every Corvette ever, it fails the big friggin' bottle test, but no one here is surprised. And then we have this long line of buttons. Now, they've actually changed this for the 2026 model year, I want to say. But we have our driver temperature up at the top, heated and ventilated seats, where to send the climate controls, fan speed, AC, power, and all of that. Defrost down below, and then our passenger heated and ventilated seats. We do get a center console, and over my shoulder, you do get a wireless charger, as well as this nice Corvette 70th anniversary badge, 1953 to 2023. The seats are comfortable, but they are pretty tight buckets. These are the most performance-oriented Corvette seats that I have experienced. If you're a bigger fellow like me, you might struggle a little bit. But honestly, I fit in them pretty well. I feel fine, and that's all that matters, right? They are heated and ventilated and carbon fiber, so very cool attributes there. We don't have any back seats, but we do have a trunk and frunk, so let's take a quick look at some storage options, and then we'll get back to driving the C8 Z06. All right, we're on the back of the C8 Corvette, and we do have front and rear trunk poppers here on the key fob. So we'll start off around the back. Obviously, this is also the engine cover, so you get to look at that beautiful, beautiful piece of art. But then you also do get a little trunk. This will fit a golf bag if you want to take it out on the links, things like that. Nothing really too crazy. If you are looking for a new grocery getter that is almost at 700 horsepower, this might not be the one. I would highly recommend the Durango Hellcat for that. But there you go. This engine was built by Shannon Bowles. Shout out to my girl Shannon. What an amazing piece of machinery, but you get to see that back here. Now, closing this up, grab up here, and it does actually have a soft close feature. Very, very nice. But then we'll come around the side, double click here. I said double click here. All right, I had to pop it from inside. That's okay. Fold it up, and you do have, there's a battery tender in there and a little bit of storage up in the front of the C8. Of course, first generation of Corvette to have a frunk, so any frunk in general is nice to see. You're not gonna fit a lot. You're gonna fit your signage and maybe a chair, probably not even a folding chair, so you're kind of out of luck for that. So that is the frunk of the Z06. If you're buying it for cargo space, I think you might need your head examined, but if you just want to have an amazing vehicle and put, I don't know, a 12-pack of Gatorade up at the front, you can certainly do that. Now we got to talk about the looks. And first of all, I want to get it out there. These are aftermarket wheels. However, I think they are awesome. They are tremendous. And the original Z06 only comes on like either black wheels or like a dark wheel. I really, really like the chrome look of these wheels. So again, not original to this car. However, I think that they look fantastic, and I'm a big fan of chrome wheels as opposed to dark wheels. I think it just looks better sitting there, and it really enhances the overall look of the car. I have to say the C8 in general has really grown on me. I thought it was really awkward when it debuted, and I think with the small body changes that they've done with it, it has grown into its own skin. It's like when you grew up with a kid with a giant nose, then he finally grows his head so it looks proportional. That's how I feel about the C8 Corvette. I think it looks great, and the Z06 is wonderful on top of that. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the C8 Corvette? Well, I have nothing but good things to say about this. What an incredible, incredible rocket ship and incredible ride. This truly feels like an exotic car. There's no major difference. I mean, even the interior materials feel good, but the power, the way the power builds, the way the car sounds, the way it kicks you in the chest and kicks you in the tush, the way that it looks, this is an American exotic car. No matter what you might say or think, it is. America has done it. And now, I am going to go out on a limb here. And believe me, I mean this when I say it. This, to me, is the best American car ever built. I love my Ford Raptor Rs. I love the GT350 Mustang that I drove. That was my previous favorite American car, best American car. This is better. The fact that it can make you giggle and make you scream and make you beg for mercy and produce 670 horsepower with no turbos, no superchargers, nothing. That is an incredible achievement of engineering. I'm a firm believer that math sucks, but when math creates stuff like this, it doesn't suck so bad. This is just amazing. And the experience I've had here is the same that I had driving a Ferrari. It's the same that I had driving that Huracan rear-wheel drive, the Audi R8 V10 rear-wheel drive that I drove. All of those vehicles. This is the same experience. It's exotic, it's mind-numbing, and yet Corvette and GM have been able to do this for a fraction of the price of the imports. How is any of this possible? How did they make this work? I don't know, but they did. They made it work so freaking good. I'm blown away. I'm nothing short of blown away. This is an incredible automobile. And the fact that 70 years ago, the Corvette had a little inline six and would take you to the mom and pop shop, and now it's this? Good grief. I can't even imagine what the ZR1 or ZR1X can be like. I don't know how they can top this. They clearly have, but until I experience it, I am left in shock and awe. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Clay and Rob for letting me borrow not only their C8, but I also reviewed their C7, their C4, and their Firebird here today. So I've been a busy, busy man here in Central Illinois. They have been absolutely wonderful, and it has been such a wonderful privilege. I am so incredibly thankful of Clay and Rob for giving me this opportunity, because this is now on the Mount Rushmore of American cars, and I don't think it'll be dethroned anytime soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.